The stated intent of Afriforum to prosecute EFF leader Julius Malema privately has attracted both negative and positive appraisals. Some think it's loaded with political undertones, and the EFF is saying that. We're now joined by attorney and legal commentator Vanessa Da Silva Faria. Thanks for being with us, Vanessa. So, Afriforum has been down this route before. Do you think this is a dubious decision or a good one, firstly?
Well, I think it's a good decision, definitely, but it's also definitely a difficult decision to make. Afriforum is very much aware of the difficulty in being able to institute a private prosecution, of what it takes to institute private prosecution. So this decision is it's an interesting decision, to be honest with you.
Private prosecutions, other commentators have said, are almost impossible. It will be difficult. Just explain the difficulties.
Well, in terms of the Criminal Procedure Act, only a complainant or a person who has in fact suffered an injury or a loss or some kind of prejudice is entitled to institute private prosecution. An organization is not necessarily entitled to institute a private prosecution at all. So they have to establish the link between them and the matter itself. They have to show their interest in the matter. So
they have to find a victim, basically.
Basically. And in a case like this, what Afriforum would do then is merely assist the complainant in the private prosecution by representing them in the matter. But the private prosecution itself would be in the name of the complainant that has actually suffered a loss or an injury of some sort.
And very difficult to find somebody who's suffered in corruption, although we all suffer to some extent. It's hard to pin it down, isn't it?
Definitely, but what assists us in this matter is that it has already been to court. So there's already a complainant that has submitted a statement, an A1 statement, and that's essentially the complainant that Afriforum will be assisting. That is the complainant in whose name the unlawfully prosecute certificate will be issued under, and who the private prosecution proceedings will be issued under.
So that term you use, it's a non-prosecution certificate, which has not been issued by the National Prosecuting Authority. Only then can you go after a private prosecution anyway. Have they jumped the gun?
Well, I would say that announcing it to this extent, possibly, but they definitely first need to have the NPA say that they refuse to prosecute the matter, and then issue the certificate where they say they refuse to prosecute the matter, and then actually be able to institute the proceedings.
In this case, though, the NPA, Afriforum claims, is dragging its feet. So is there some sort of time limit in which the NPA has to make a decision?
Not necessarily, unless Afriforum puts pressure on the NPA. They would, at the end of the day, it's the NPA's discretion to prosecute or not. And unfortunately, Afriforum does not have an automatic right to private prosecution. They have to wait for NPA to make its decision. And once they've made the decision, they can then proceed with a private prosecution.
All right, so just try to look into the future, given what you know about private prosecutions. Do you think we'll see anything like this happen in South Africa?
Well, I think if we do, it will be quite an interesting case. There hasn't been many private prosecution matters in South Africa, and on that basis, not many successful matters. And if it does proceed, it will definitely be a very interesting one, and will definitely set the record for future private prosecution matters. So it's quite interesting to see what the NPA will do, and if they will actually issue a unlawfully prosecute certificate in the matter.
All right, so thank you very much, Attorney Vanessa Da Silva Faria. We will be speaking to the National Prosecuting Authority as soon as we can to get their take. They're saying that Afriforum here has, in fact, jumped the gun and is stepping or overstepping its mark by interfering with the course of the prosecutions by the NPA itself.